Hey guys, so I'm really bad at introducing myself. Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about compatibility. I get that a lot, and it's really kind of something that astrologers try to shy away from unless they're having like a consultation with someone, because there's a lot of different things and components that go into if you're compatible with someone else or how you guys mesh well together. So it's not really just your sun sign, it's definitely not that, but it's also not just your Venus sign. I see a lot of people that are just kind of like, look at your Venus sign or look at your Juno sign, and those are all components, but it's also like how your moons go together, like how your nodes in your synastry reading go together. But with that being said, today we're going to throw that all away and just talk about sign dynamics. That way we can just get like a very basic understanding of how the signs, in my personal opinion, would go together. Now this, obviously there's a lot more to this, so don't just take what I'm saying about signs and make it the holy grail or the final say. Definitely know that there's a lot more that goes into it, so whatever I'm saying could pretty much be entirely invalid based on your synastry reading. To make this kind of brief, we'll do who I feel is most compatible with Aries and least compatible with Aries, and we'll do explanations, and I'll go down the list with every sign. That way you kind of have one very pro-choice, one very anti-choice. So Aries, one sign that I feel goes really well with Aries as like my OTP, which is one true pairing, I would probably say Sagittarius. Now I know that fire and fire can be very good or very bad depending on other aspects in the chart, but I personally just really think, because they're both so adventurous and they're both so quick to want to explore new things, and they're both like laid back and easygoing, and they have just a more kind of sporty personality. I feel that they both bring that excitement to the table, but of course with every pairing there can always be like negative traits. I'm not saying that they are the only good couple, I just feel like they personally have a lot in common, and that can be very good or very bad, and yeah. And then a sign that I don't think does very well with Aries at all is Cancer. I want to say Cancer because they both are kind of similar in a way, but it's usually only their bad qualities that are very similar. So they both have very, I feel like together they can be very destructive depending on how developed each person is, especially because they both kind of tend to use deflective behavior in terms of dealing with, what do you call it? Like they both have a hard time taking ownership at times. And this is, again, like disclaimer if they're undeveloped. So two undeveloped, like Aries and Cancer, I feel like could be very bad. And also Aries constantly feels like they need to save everyone, and Cancer feels like they constantly need to be saved. And I don't know, they can just kind of feed into these really unhealthy characteristics. But that is with a grain of salt. So yeah, and then Taurus, my favorite pairing for Taurus. My favorite pairing for Taurus is Capricorn, because they're both very similar, but they can execute like a very great team together. They're both very go-getter. They both have very like level-headed ideas that they can bring to the table, and they both like nice things, so they both have that same kind of indulgence level that I feel like they just kind of understand each other on a very like intimate like way. And I also feel like they can both calm each other down and make each other feel like, speak to each other's sense of reason, whereas other signs kind of don't have that way with them. So that's just my personal opinion. And then also I feel like Taurus and Aries are a very bad dynamic. Now this is my own opinion. It's not, they can actually do really well together, and I've actually seen a lot of Taurus Aries relationships long term but in my personal opinion, I feel like because they're the first quadrant of the zodiac, they both have those very like childish tendencies. They can both have very outlandish temper tantrums, and they both have very dramatic ways of getting their point across, and I feel like sometimes it can just be very clashing. So Gemini, I feel like my favorite person for Gemini is an Aquarius, because they're both so eclectic and unique, but they also kind of inspire and feed off of one another's creativity, and they both also have very kind of deflective ways about dealing with their emotions. They're both kind of independent in a sense, and I feel like that is very cool, I guess, because they can respect each other's space. And yeah, but then I also feel like the worst pairing for Gemini would probably be Virgo. I feel like Virgo is very practical and very reserved in the way that they execute their ideas and their philosophies, whereas Gemini is a little bit more flighty and all over the place and more enthusiastic in the way that they do things. Virgo is more cautious, and yes, they're both ruled by Mercury, but at the same time the way that they channel that energy is entirely different, kind of like Libra and Taurus being ruled by Venus. Gemini also would be very difficult with, more difficult with maybe Pisces. I think Pisces and Gemini would have a very hard relationship, because Pisces is very sensitive, and Gemini is sensitive but a little bit more aloof than Pisces. So I don't know, I guess. And then Leo. So, no, Cancer. Cancer, I already said I don't ship them very well with Aries, but I do ship them very well with Virgo. I feel like Virgo Cancer are very, Cancer kind of makes Virgo a little bit softer and more vulnerable, and Virgo teaches Cancer how to be more rational, and I feel like they're kind of a very like strong team. They can speak to each other in a very like sensitive way, and like they can communicate in a way that I feel like it can be hard for other signs to get through to them. So yeah, I feel like they do well together. And then Leo be Scorpio, because Scorpio is very intense and kind of puts a lot of like emphasis on loyalty, and I feel like that kind of power dynamic can be very flattering to a Leo, and the attention is also very needed, but they can also clash really badly. So I don't know, I don't see this, I feel like this, technically I know a lot of people say that Libra and Leo are the best pairing, but I feel like I don't know, I feel like a lot more can be accomplished with something that you wouldn't expect to go well together, but obviously like every relationship I feel like it would be hard, and if not harder, because they are very similar, so they can clash heads probably. And then I don't ship a Leo with probably any mutable sign. Like I feel like mutable signs are Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius. Like they'll have a lot of fun, but Leo needs more loyalty, and I feel like mutable signs don't really want to be caged or held down too much. So unless that Leo has a lot of mutual energy in the charts, I just don't see it working out. Or Capricorn. I feel like Capricorn will probably bore Leo after too long. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Obama and Michelle worked, and Obama's a Leo and Michelle's Capricorn, so I guess it just depends. It just depends. And then Virgo I already shipped with Cancer. I don't ship Virgo with I don't ship Virgo with Aries, but I already said Aries. I have to think of someone else that I don't ship Virgo with. I don't ship Virgo with Pisces. I feel like Pisces is too sensitive and too reactive to things, whereas Virgo is more cutthroat and uses logic in order to get their point across. Pisces uses more emphasis on emotion, and I feel like their approach can be very bad and clash very badly, but not to say that it won't work. I'm just saying that I feel like that would make it a lot harder. And then 7th, okay, Libra. I feel like they would actually work really well with Scorpio. I know I shipped Scorpio with Leo, but I feel like Scorpio or Leo, actually. Libra, Scorpio, and Libra should all just be in a polygamous relationship. No, I'm just kidding. But I feel like they all have kind of a very like playful and lighthearted sense of navigating situations and things, and Libra is extremely diplomatic and a hopeless romantic. So Leo is like the big romance gestures, and so is Scorpio, but Scorpio executes it in a more reserved way. Leo's more not reckless but impulsive, and Scorpio's more reserved and calculated, but they're both able to do that like big, passionate, like romantic thing. It's just gonna come out very differently. So I don't know, I ship them with those people. And then I don't ship Libra with Aries because I know that it can work. I know that they are sister signs, they're opposites, so it can work, it can happen, but Aries is very take and Libra is very give, and I don't know, I feel bad for Libra in that situation. So, and then Scorpio I already shipped with Leo and Libra, and I don't ship Scorpio with Aquarius, Sagittarius, or Taurus. I don't ship them with most other fixed signs because they're very kind of strong in their stance and their opinions, and they're very radical about their approach on life, and I feel like Taurus is very traditional and very stubborn. They're both very stubborn, but I feel like Scorpio is more willing to compromise, whereas Taurus probably wouldn't be. And Aquarius would be kind of not as honest to Scorpio. I feel like Scorpio would have a hard time trusting them. Sagittarius. Why am I always forgetting Sagittarius? Sagittarius I ship with like maybe Gemini and Aries because they're both fun and flighty. No, I'm kidding. But they'll have a lot of fun together, and they'll not take life too seriously, and they like their independence. They need people that are also independent, because if someone's too controlling or too kind of suffocating, I feel like they cannot be suffocated. And the minute that someone starts to give them too much attention or too much affection, they'll probably lose interest and get bored. And I feel like they won't be compatible with literally any fixed sign. No, I'm kidding, but actually not kidding. Yeah, probably any fixed sign. So Taurus, definitely Taurus. I feel like Sagittarius and Taurus would be like the least likely to happen, but could probably be very interesting. I just feel like it would be very interesting. I don't know. I couldn't see it happening because Taurus is just so like stuck in their ways, and they like to kind of drown themselves in whatever they're interested in, and like be completely like monogamous and talk about marriage probably. And Sagittarius is kind of not into that. I mean, they maybe think that they are, but they'll probably get bored or get scared if it gets too serious, so I don't know. And then Capricorn. I shipped Capricorn with Taurus already, and I don't ship Capricorn with Aries. I really don't see that happening, which is weird because they're both cardinal signs, but Aries is very loud and abrasive and impulsive, and Capricorn is more low-key. Capricorn wants something more like calm. They want something a little bit more tranquil than an Aries. And then Aquarius I don't ship with. I'm just not shipping anyone with Taurus. Aquarius with Gemini. I don't ship Aquarius with Cancer. I feel like that could go very badly. Cancer is very in their emotions and their feelings. They're very vulnerable, and they're very kind of like that hopeless romantic, like that die-hard hopeless romantic that just wants to like nurture you and cater you. And Aquarius is more like, but why do we have to follow the societal expectations of what is deemed normal? Why do we have to, like, I don't know, they're more wanting to do like the alternative route, whereas Cancer wants to do the like cliche route, which is fine, but I don't know, I feel like that would be difficult. And then Pisces. We shipped Pisces already with someone, didn't we? I don't know, I forgot. I guess Pisces with Leo? I could see that being a thing. don't ship Pisces with Virgo. I remember saying that. Yeah, I guess that completes this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.